Hi, welcome back to another episode of Team Chingyat Coffee Talk. Today we have Antito who's joining us and also Luxu An. Based on some of our recent episode that we sent out, there's viewers that have been having questions for Luxu An, especially with one of your few that you're dealing with is personal injury car accident. So can you share a little bit, like if someone get into an accident, what's the first thing you recommend for them to do? If someone who doesn't have anything, of course they're in shock, what do you recommend for them to do?
Right. So if you're ever involved in a car accident, the first thing you want to do, of course, is make sure everybody is okay. And exchange information. If the accident is minor, pull over to the side of the road so that you're not blocking the road and exchange information. A lot of times when people do get in car accidents, a lot of times it's their first time. They're in shock. They don't know what to do, and they end up getting information and it's not enough information. They leave the scene and they're never able to get the information they needed to start their claim with their insurance company or the other party's insurance company.
Yeah.
Right? So you always want to make sure you take a picture of their driver's license, take a picture of their maybe license plate, and exchange insurance information and phone number. That way you can report it to your insurance. Your insurance can reach out to the other party's insurance, and if you were injured and you need an attorney to assist you with the case, at least you have that information to give to your attorney so that your attorney can do the investigation and follow up on your case for you.
Yeah, so then what if, the two party are like exchanging information, but then they already know who's at fault, right? But then afterwards they, report it to their auto insurance and be like, oh, it wasn't, they turned the story around and blame the, at fault to you.
Right.
What would, in that situation,
You're going to run into cases with disputed liability, right? It's going to be a he said, she said situation, and there's no witnesses. Those are tough cases because unless you can get the other person to admit it or unless you have a witness, there was no one there. The insurance company will look at the damages. They'll see maybe by the damages and the facts of the case who may be at fault. When you're dealing with, for example, if you're dealing with a rear end case, right? Most rear end cases, the person that hits you is at fault.
Right.
But there are instances where somebody says, hey, I backed up, or that person backed up and hit me, right? So that becomes an issue too. You don't see it often because there are some people who are just not don't lie to you just so that they aren't found liable for the accident. But most people are honest and they'll tell the truth. But you do want to get all the information you need to support your case because there are those instances where they're going to tell their insurance that you hit them. Whereas they hit you. And another way to protect yourself is to get a dash cam, right? If you can get a dash cam on your car, save the clip and provide it to your insurance company.
Would you also recommend, like, if it was like a four-way street or something, there's no street light, there's no camera, would you recommend that at that time was like accident to maybe call the police? Hopefully try to get like a report to back up, obviously if they don't have any witness, right? At the time.
Yeah, you want to make a report. If it's not an emergency, you don't have to dial 911 because that's the emergency number. A lot of police departments have a non-emergency number where you can call in and make a report, or you can go into the office itself and make a report yourself. But you do want to report. And you do want to submit that report to your insurance company.
Right. So then obviously when someone's got into an accident for the first time, they're in shock, they don't know what to do, who to call, right? So then once they calm down a little bit and, they figure out that they may need some help, if they don't know what to do, right? What would be some of the reason why people would try to reach out to, an attorney like you to try to help, with their personal injury? Right.
So if you get into an accident and you were injured, and someone caused those injuries, they're responsible for paying you for the damages you sustained. The law says that if someone injured you, they have to put you back in a position you were prior to those injuries, right? So if you had to go to the doctor and get treatment, they have to pay for those medical expenses. If you were hurt and there's pain and suffering, they have to compensate you for that pain and suffering. And that's something that's very hard to value, right? Pain and suffering is not something that you can say, hey, this is $1,000 or $2,000 worth of pain and suffering, that has to be proven through medical records and medical treatment. If you're hurt, you're going to have to get treatment.
Right.
If you get these treatments, there'll be medical bills associated with the treatment. So what we do is when we help client, we make sure that they get all the treatment they need until they feel better. We represent them by dealing with their insurance company, dealing with the other party's insurance company, and trying to work out a settlement. But in a lot of cases, you can't work out a settlement without filing a lawsuit. So if it comes to filing a lawsuit, we file a lawsuit on their behalf so that they get a fair settlement. Because these insurances that are representing the at-fault party, they don't want to pay you. Their job is to pay you as least as possible, right? They want to save money for their company.
Yeah.
So when you're dealing with insurance, if you don't have that experience, they're not going to give you a fair offer guaranteed, because they know that an individual who is not an attorney does not know how to file a lawsuit. So even if they give you a low offer, what are you going to do? You have to either accept it or you have to sit on it or file a lawsuit, right? And there's a statute of limitations.
Yeah.
There's this 2-year statute of limitations for personal injury. So if you don't do anything by that 2 years, you lose your whole case.
Yeah.
So that's what we try to do. We try to expedite the process, make sure that they get the treatment they need, and make sure that they get a fair and reasonable settlement at the end of the day.
So then usually would you say that, like, if the insurance company reach out to me, let's just say I got into an accident, and then, obviously my auto insurance know about it, and the other party insurance is like contact me and try to offer me like, $1,000 for my pain and suffering for that. Do you recommend for me to take it, or what would be the case in differ to, like, if I were to like hire an attorney to help me on this?
Right. So when you get into an accident, a lot of insurers, what they'll do is they'll give you a quick settlement to try to basically get you to close the case, because once you sign that release, if you find out later on that your injury was a lot worse than you thought it was, there's no way of going back and asking for more damages. So the insurance company knows that, right? So what they tell you is that, hey, we'll give you $1,000, $2,000 up front. You can use this for your medical treatment, but sign this release, and then your case is settled.
Yeah.
I don't ever recommend doing that, just because when you're talking about injuries, $1,000, $2,000, you're talking about medical bills. You guys know how expensive medical bills can
Right.
be. It's not going to be enough to cover your medical bills. So talk to an attorney first and get an advice of an attorney, because attorneys have worked with insurance companies before, and they kind of know the value. But first and foremost, get your treatment, because if you're injured, you don't know how severe those injuries are.
No, that's a great point. I think my takeaway when you said that is like, I didn't feel any pain. I'm okay.
Right.
I'll go to the doctor tomorrow. You're not a doctor, right? And you don't know how your body reacts to a certain injury. You might be in shock, right? So don't assume anything. Don't assuming that the other guy, even though he or she made a mistake, is going to admit to the insurance company or to the cop their mistake. This is life experience, I'm telling you, right? Do not take it for granted that, people are honest out there. That's not always the case.
Right.
Number two, people react differently based on who they're seeing. If I see a cop and a badge is there, I'm going to react differently than if I see, some normal person. If the insurance company see an attorney or a attorney letterhead, they can react differently because they know that it's not somebody they're going to take advantage of. Right? Understand the system, who you're dealing with here.
Yeah.
Their job is to make sure to pay the least amount of compensation. Your job is to hire the best attorney out there who's experienced so that you can compensate it fairly for your injury now and in the future. Is that right?
Right. And my office, we represent a lot of Vietnamese clients who don't speak English. So at these accident scenes where they're in the accident, the officer or whoever is first on the scene, they will interview, the English-speaking party, but they can't interview. They won't interview the Vietnamese person, because sometimes you can always get interpreters, but they don't do that. They don't go through all the time. These officers, they don't like writing reports.
No.
So they'll make a quick report, and then they'll submit that report, and then you don't even get to explain your side of the situation. And
that's a great point, attorney, because I would say there's certain biases, right?
Right.
And maybe the way we were brought up, you go, right? You say yes to every darn thing, even though you disagree. It's like, you're right. Like, the way you say things or react to things indicate right? How they interpret the case. So cops and insurance company all have biases. They're gonna
Right.
trust the guy who speaks English more than the guy who doesn't speak English.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And the way you react, and like I said in our culture, everything is yes, 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 and then sometimes I agree, even though it's a negative, I agree that it's a negative.
Right.
Yeah.
But they interpret it differently, right?
Yeah, and I see that a lot with after an accident, your insurance company will call you to get an interview.
Right.
And if you're not represented, they'll ask you certain questions.
Yeah, and it's double negatives. And,
Right, right. And then they trap you into saying things that will be detrimental to your
Right.
case. And they'll use that against you because they don't. A lot of people don't understand that these insurance companies that's representing the other side, they're not there to help you. They're there to get information to build their case and to deny your claim. So whenever you get in an accident, if you want to start a claim, I don't talk to an insurance adjuster. Talk to an attorney first, and if you retain an attorney, that adjuster has to go through your attorney, and then your attorney will represent you, and they'll give just enough information to proceed with your claim.
Maybe the optic is if I go directly to the insurance company, they'll pay me more because it's going to cost the insurance company less to deal with me directly, so they'll make up for that saving by paying me more. But that's not the case.
No, that's not the case, and a lot of people will also think that, hey, if I'm already paying my attorney 30%,
Right.
and is he going to be able to get me more than what I can get for myself if I don't have an attorney? Because I now don't have to pay that 30%.
Right.
But the quick answer is no.
Right.
Because again, like I said, these adjusters, they know how much your case is worth, and they know that you can't do anything if your case is worth more, and they give you a low ball offer. With an attorney, they know the value of the case, and they're going to always pretty much get the max they can for these cases. And if they can't get the max or they can't get a reasonable offer, they have the knowledge to file a lawsuit and take these
To the next step.
insurance, or you're taking the at-fault party to court, and then they're going to have to.
Right.
You can prove your case in court, bring out the medical bills, show your injuries, how it's impacted your life, and get a settlement for the value of your case.
Yeah. So then usually if someone were to, reach out to you and do like a personal injury case, how long usually would be you said, the average time for the process?
These cases, it just all depends on the type of injuries.
Right.
If it's just soft tissue injuries, most of those injuries will heal in about 4 to 6 months, right? If it's more serious, if you have a fracture and you have to rehabilitate, you're taking physical therapy, then of course it's going to take longer. So a lot of the back injuries, those are sometimes chronic, and they could be lifelong injuries, and you're going to have to get treatment for the rest of your life.
Right.
And those cases take a lot longer because we want to make sure that they get all the treatment they want or they need, and also we're also trying to negotiate to get the most we can for this person for future medical bills as well once the case is closed.
Yeah. So then actually, I do have a viewer that recently got into an accident, and she was worried that, she's like a Medicare, Medi-Cal recipient, and she was wondering if that's going to affect her benefit in doing because her healthcare, Medi-Cal, Medicare is helping her paying for her medical bills. How
Right.
would that affect into the case?
Yeah, so Medi-Cal or Medicare will pay for your insurance, but they do demand reimbursement. So if you get a settlement from a third party, you have to pay those off. The other thing I want to touch on is, even if you don't have medical insurance, there's a lot of doctors out there that we work with that will accept your case on a medical lien, which means you're not paying anything out of pocket. Once you complete your treatment and once we settle your case, then we pay your doctor out of the settlement that we received. And that's the same goes with your attorney. Most attorneys will not charge you up front. We do a contingency fee agreement, which means we take a percentage of what we're able to recover for you. So these cases, you're not paying anything out of pocket. So if you're injured, and you don't have any money or insurance, don't worry about that. Give us a call or give an attorney a call and talk to them about that, because we can still help.
And obviously there's language support, right?
Right.
And I think for me it's just a sense of perspective, and that somebody do this every day of their life as a profession.
Right.
Obviously they're gonna know the strategies, the ways to deal with an insurance company.
Right.
How much within the range. 'Cause one thing I learned is that the settlement's never just, this is all we can afford.
Right.
There's always a range.
There is.
Right? How much can you push it to get to this higher range
Right.
versus this lower range? So again, leave it to the professional. I mean,
Right.
do your homework, do your due diligence, ask around. think the purpose of what we do here is just the fact that we work so well with each other. There's a center of influence. People, doctors that we work with, other. As you can see, one topic it relates to healthcare, insurance, taxes.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Some people think like, oh, this settlement is not going to be taxable,
that's
right?
Right.
Right. So
That's the other question. And
Right.
Tito, there's like, previous that people who got like settlement from personal injury, they were like, do I have to pay tax for this? Do I have to report on it? Well, what do you think?
Well, that's the other episode. Right now we're paying the attorney, so that's an attorney fees that we gotta minimize. But no, definitely, that's where you feel comfortable is be able to reach out to Team Junya. And that's really what that means is that we're all professionals, right?
Right,
And the
right.
reason we chose Our Salon Mom is the fact that we're like the second generations of kids who came from obviously, children of immigrants and refugees, that there's a connection, a heart that we have with the community. And I mentioned to you in the last episode that, man, we got to get ourselves to the next level. This is powerful. This is knowledge. This is protecting yourself, right? Knowing
Right.
your rights.
Right.
Right.
And getting the most you can under this complicated system.
Right. Yeah. And you guys have put out this valuable information. For all the viewers out there, even if we don't touch on certain topics, feel free to give them a call, because if we can't do it for you, we do know people in the community that can help.
Oh,
Right.
good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Anything else you guys want to add before we finish up this episode? Like always, thank you. A pleasure having you guys joining us. And viewers, again, if you, like Luxian was saying, if you have any question or anything, visit our website, oursalonmoms.com, or contact, our either offices, their numbers, like you could find it on the website as well. And if you have any other question or concern for next topic episode, please, send us a questionnaire or, suggestion for our topic for next episode, okay? Thank you for joining us again, and have a wonderful day, okay?
Thank you.
Thank